am so deeply honored to stand before you today as your Secretary-Treasurer of the Texas AFL-CIO. Because this moment is not about me. It is about what this movement can do for working people and what we can accomplish when we lift one another up. I know firsthand the grind and the fight it takes to create opportunity. I grew up on the east side of San Antonio, where nothing was handed to you and every door had to be pushed open. My family worked hard for everything we had. My mother was a school cafeteria worker and a union member. My father was an immigrant laborer. I didn't grow up talking about unions as an abstract. I grew up learning one hard truth. Workers without unions will always be at the mercy of those with power. I learned that truth at the kitchen table. A union was why my mother had health insurance. A union was why she didn't have to work when she was sick. A union was why she had dignity in retirement. And without a union, my father had none of those protections. As the daughter of a union member, I will always be grateful for the local union victories in San Antonio ISD. So shout out to San Antonio Alliance, I see you out in the crowd, and also to Texas AFT. That's right, show them some love. Back in 2007, when I returned back home, my first gig out of college was at the University of Texas Health Science Center. Like many people in this room, I believed that myth that state jobs were just, cushy, stress-free. Quickly did I learn that that could not have been further from the truth. My coworkers and I used to joke about forced overtime and how our workplace was not always safe. And eventually, I realized this was not funny. We needed a union, and eventually, I realized it wasn't enough to talk about it. I had to be about it. So I joined the Texas State Employees Union CWA Local 6186. Shout out. That union taught me how power actually works, where it lives, who holds it, and how working people can build it together. It taught me how elected officials impact our day-to-day lives, and it taught me how to ask coworkers to take a stand instead of waiting on the sidelines hoping things changed. Before our grant ran out, not only did we have the majority of our union organized, we established an organizing committee and would table our worksite weekly. So thank you, TSCU CWA, for giving me that strong foundation. And for those of you who may not know, they hold the model for organizing in non-contract unions and universities across the state. CWA is where I learned about true unionism. Unionism that adapts, is focused on winning, and welcomes everyone. Unionism that doesn't just play defense, but goes on the offense. Unionism that invests in organizing, trains leaders, builds real solidarity, and fights back. Because let's face it, we have to. We don't have the luxury of waiting for Texas to turn blue. When I was asked to step up and take on this role, it was multiple asks. Because I knew these are scary times, that our movement is hurting, and we are up against forces that don't play by the rules. Forces that are well-funded, well-organized, and determined to divide us. But that truth doesn't discourage me, because despite how hard this moment is, despite how heavy the world feels right now, our opponents have no idea how much power is in this room, and they forget something important. We have been here before. Look at our convention theme, which side are you on? That question comes from a song written in 1932 by Florence Reese. Her husband, a union organizer, was beaten, hunted down by company-hired goons. One night, armed men kicked in her door while she was home alone with her children. Florence Reese later said this: masked men shoved their guns into closets, into beds, and even into a pile of dirty laundry. One of her little girls began to cry, and the men said, "What are you crying for? We're not here for you, we're here for your old man." After that, it is when Florence Reese was so outraged, she tore off a calendar of the wall and began to write the words of, "Which side are you on?" That question still confronts us today. These fights are not new. We are built for this moment. Our movement, our union movement, is the power of the collective. It is how we win, because it's within this collective that we find community, we find strength, and solidarity. It's where we share our struggles and unlock our power to bring justice to our work sites and our communities. I believe this with everything that I have. We are the vehicle for economic justice. We can break generational poverty. We can absolutely fight this new form of fascism, both in the White House and Governor's Mansion. But inspiration alone is not enough. So, here's what I'm asking from all of us in this room: that we organize where we live, that we show up when it's uncomfortable, and that we treat every election, every organizing drive, and every contract fight like it matters, because it does. Now, we also have to be honest about the reality around us. Like President Aguilar talked about, ICE raids are happening in our communities. Union members are being detained. Voting rights are under attack. Not somewhere far away. Let's not forget what happened last session, but right here in our backyard. Public education and working families are being targeted by reckless policies that threaten our future. Everyday decisions are being made without the regard of our lives or our livelihoods. This is our reality. So we have to ask ourselves some hard questions. How are we fighting? Are our programs meeting this moment? Are we showing up for each other when it matters most? And are we adapting to these times? Can I get an amen? Can I get a recall back? Awesome. Because as we work through these questions at this COPE convention, I want to remind everyone of this. Our enemy is not sitting across from us in this room. We are a union family. And if you know me, you know I mean that literally. Many of you have become my chosen family. Half the people At my daughter's quinceañera, we're from this same exact room. My kids have union aunts, uncles, and cousins all across the state. But being a union family doesn't mean avoiding hard conversations. And it doesn't mean lowering expectations. And it doesn't mean walking away when the work gets tough. Being a union family means we stay at the table, we hold each other accountable, and we move forward together. So when we leave here, we leave united. I want to close with the words of Mother Jones, spoken at a convention just like this in 1913. She said, "I want you to pledge to yourselves in this convention to stand as one solid army against the foes of human labor, until work is safe and human life is valued more than profit." So I ask you today, can we make that pledge together? Can we stand united, move forward as one solid army, and fight for the dignity of working people everywhere? Well, my name is Lorraine Montemayor, and I am so proud to serve as your Secretary-Treasurer of the AFL-CIO. Thank you very much for your time. Let's keep fighting. Muchísimas gracias. Sí se puede.